Hello, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. Immigration News. While many immigrants believe that holding a green card means complete freedom to come and go, the truth is far more complicated and far riskier than most people realize. Under current USCIS policies, including enforcement approaches shaped during the Trump administration, lawful permanent residency is not the unshakable shield many think it is. Quiet rules, little-known timelines, and strict inspection standards are catching travelers off guard, sometimes costing them their status entirely. For many, that little card in your wallet represents stability, opportunity, and a future you've worked years to build. But one unexpected decision at a port of entry could turn your life upside down. That's why this update is so important. In this video, we're going to break down a major USCIS reminder that could change everything for green card holders. We'll uncover the travel limits you must know, explain how even a simple family trip could trigger questioning at the border, and reveal the critical steps you can take to avoid being accused of abandoning your residency. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it, so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video. For many green card holders, the first shock comes with what's known as the 6-month rule. If you leave the US for 6 months and 1 day or more, immigration officers at re-entry have the authority to question whether you still intend to live here permanently. You might still get back in, but you could also face intense scrutiny. Officers may want to see proof of why you were gone, and if your reason doesn't meet their standard, your return could be the start of legal trouble. Let's imagine this. You travel overseas to care for a sick parent. The treatment takes longer than expected, and you're gone for just over 6 months. At the airport on your way back into the US, the officer looks at your passport, frowns, and asks you into secondary inspection. They question your intent to maintain US residency. Without solid evidence like medical records or proof of a temporary work assignment, you could be placed into removal proceedings. That's how quickly things can change. Then comes the 1-year danger zone, the point where things get truly serious. If you've been outside the US for more than a year without the proper travel document, Customs and Border Protection can decide you've abandoned your residency entirely. That decision is often final and devastating. People return expecting to resume their lives, only to be told they're no longer welcome, and sent back on the next flight out. This is where the re-entry permit becomes essential. Officially known as Form Y-131, it's issued by USCIS and allows you to stay outside the US for up to 2 years without losing your green card. But it's not something you can get last minute from overseas. You must apply while you are physically inside the US, and you must complete your biometrics before leaving. The cost is $575 for the application plus $85 for biometrics, a total of $660. While that's not cheap, it's nothing compared to the cost, time and stress starting over after losing your status. A re-entry permit also doesn't last forever. Once the 2 years are up, you're back at risk unless you've returned to the US and reset your physical presence. Planning travel carefully and renewing your permit when necessary is critical. But what if you're already in trouble, outside the US for more than a year without a permit? That's where the SB1 returning resident visa comes in. It's your last chance to prove you didn't intend to abandon your US home. The application isn't easy. You must convince a consular officer that your absence was beyond your control and that you still have strong ties to the US. That might mean showing a home you still own, immediate family members who live here, an active job, or business commitments that clearly prove your intent to return. It's worth noting that Form 131 is not just for re-entry permits. It's also used for refugee travel documents, TPS travel authorization, advanced parole for humanitarian needs, and even special parole programs for military families or urgent reunification. But each path has unique requirements and risks. Traveling without the correct authorization could mean being denied at the border or even permanently losing your status. For TPS holders, the consequences can be just as severe. Leaving the US without proper approval while your application is still pending can lead to missed notices, denials, or findings of inadmissibility. This can effectively end your ability to return lawfully. The bigger picture here is that US immigration law is built around the assumption that permanent residency means living primarily inside the United States. Extended absences, even for good reasons, are red flags unless you've taken the right legal precautions. And here's where USCIS policy enforcement, especially in the current political climate, comes into play. Under Trump administration-era interpretations that still influence operations today, officers are checking travel histories more closely than ever. Processing timelines, interview requirements, and even admissibility decisions can shift suddenly. That unpredictability makes it even more important to prepare thoroughly before traveling. Think about what's at stake. If you've worked 4 years to get your green card, losing it over a technicality is a nightmare. For those on the path to US citizenship, extended absences can restart the continuous residence clock. That means instead of applying for naturalization in 5 years, you might be waiting 6, 7, or more. That's lost time. Time away from voting rights, from the security of citizenship, and from truly putting down permanent roots. I've spoken to families who thought they were making the right choice, like moving abroad temporarily for a better job or to take care of a loved one, only to come back and find themselves locked out. Others underestimated how long medical treatment would take, or assumed a vacation could be extended without consequences. In every case, the heartbreak is the same. Years of building a life here, erased at the airport in a matter of minutes. So, before you travel, ask yourself, have I already been outside the US for more than 6 months in the past year? Will this next trip push me past that 1-year threshold? Do I have an approved re-entry permit or other valid travel document? And most importantly, am I prepared to show proof of my intent to keep the US as my home? If any of those answers raise uncertainty, now is the time to act. Talk to an experienced immigration attorney. File the necessary paperwork while you're still in the country. Complete your biometrics. Keep detailed records of why you're traveling and when you plan to return. Because the truth is, your green card is more than just a plastic ID. It's the key to your life in the United States, your job, your home, your family's security. And protecting it means knowing the rules, planning ahead, and never assuming that permanent means forever. That's all we have for this bulletin. The US Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your US immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about US visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas, such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the US Immigration News Channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.